Hello, friends. Welcome. I am so happy to see your faces. I'm taking a minute to look around and take it in. I like to do that. Some of you are familiar faces, and some of you are faces that I hope to get to know more. And this kind of call, we do a lot of calls in this business and we have a lot of fun in this business, but this kind of call in particular is really near and dear to my heart. And it makes me a little bit emotional. I am a crier. I will try not to do that tonight, but it just really excites me because
Oh, if you got it.
it takes me back and makes me reflect on where I was before I started on this journey. And I joined this community of incredible women. And it's really been a long road. It's truly, truly, truly been a long road to get me to this place in my life. And I just I wouldn't have it any other way. If I hadn't said yes to doing this, I truly don't know what my life would look like today. It almost scares me to think what my life would look like today. And just to get it like right out the gates, put it out there. When I was first approached about this business and I was first asked to do this thing by Ashley, who is on this call with us tonight, who you will be hearing from later on, I was a hard no. Like, didn't even let her finish getting the words out of her mouth before I was like, wrong person, wrong audience. And that was in part, it was in part to a lot of things. Let's be like real here. But a lot of it had to do with just where I was at in my life. And a lot of it had to do with a preconceived notion and a judgment and a stigma that I had to companies like this, to multi-level marketing, to direct sales. And because of what multi-level marketing looked like when I was a kid and what I had grown up around, and we all heard about the period of the pyramid schemes and all of that, I just had a really bad taste in my mouth. And I was just like, I could never be a part of anything like that. That is not for me. No, thank you. And so, and I used the products, by the way. I used essential oils at that point. So I was a hard no. And it wasn't until this last year, actually, I guess 2020 now we're in 2021, where life circumstance changed. I had changed. I had gone through a lot, and I was finally ready to dive in and to say yes. And before we even get there, I just want to speak like a little bit about to you guys. I know a lot of you probably heard about this call because a lot of us were posting about it on social media, or maybe somebody personally invited you here. And the purpose of this call is for women who have that fire inside of them, that feeling deep inside of them that they want something more in life, that they know they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. They want to be a part of a community. Maybe it's, you want to, do it for the money. Maybe you saw what the monthly income could be. The possibilities are there. That's okay. I am very driven by money. It is okay to be driven by money. There's a lot of stigma that goes along with that as well, that I think just isn't true. And I'll get more into that in a minute because that pertains to my personal story. But whatever brought you here, just look around at everybody who is on this call. We all share that in common. Already out the gates, like, we have that very thing in common, and that is what's tethering us to each other in this call. So already we are connected because of that feeling deep inside of us that we want to pursue something, and we want to be passionate about something, and we want to make something of ourselves, and we want to do it alongside other women, and we want to bless people's lives, and a lot of other things. And we'll talk about that too. We'll talk about our whys, because our whys are so, so, so important. And all of that comes along with being a part of this community. So for me, just a little bit of history about myself. I am a mom. I have 2 girls. I'm a single mom. I'm divorced almost 4 years, which is crazy that almost 4 years has gone by. 2 years after I got divorced, I hit an extremely low bottom, a rock bottom. I had been abusing drugs and alcohol for the majority of my life, and it was maintainable for a very long time until it wasn't anymore. And I checked myself into a treatment center for 4.5 months, and I finally got the help that I needed and that I deserved. And it is still to this day the best decision that I ever made, even above having children, even above so many things. Taking care of my mental health and my sobriety is what makes everything else in my life possible. And I was about a year sober when I always had that inkling inside of me. Like, I always wanted something more. I always threw myself into every occupation I had and everything I did, but nothing was ever enough. It was just never enough. And I was just never fully pleased with what I was doing with my time. I love being a mom. I was a stay-at-home mom and just a stay-at-home mom for the beginning years of my kids' lives. And it just wasn't enough for me. I wanted something more. And so I dabbled in a bunch of different things and I just never could find it. And back in April of 2020, we all went into the pandemic, obviously, and that was a very difficult time. I had lost my job. I had no income. My ex-husband lost his income, so I was getting no child support. So I was at $0. Overnight, I went from being okay, being able to cover my mortgage, being able to cover my bills, being able to feed my kids, to literally having $0 coming in. And instead of panicking, which old Lacey would have done in the past for sure, I took the tools that I learned in recovery, one day at a time. We are where our feet are. And I just focused on doing the next right thing every single day. I would wake up in the morning, put my feet on the ground, and I would just do the next right thing. And I would pray, and I knew something was going to come along and I was going to be okay. And it was at that point, at the exact same time, simultaneously, that Ashley, who's on the call, her daughter was diagnosed with DIPG, a very rare brain tumor that shook our world. And Ashley is a sister to me. I've known her for 25 years, and she lives 1 block over from me. And so I was with her and her family every single day. My kids were there too. And, you know, we just really went through it. I don't want to get too emotional. We just really went through it. And it was at that time that I was at Ashley's house a lot, and she had been doing this business for 2.5 years, and she had built this community for 2.5 years, and she was diffusing oils a lot, and we were using Valor. If you guys have your kit and you know what Valor is, we were using that a lot on Stevie, on her daughter, and we were rubbing it on her feet every day. And I was starting to use the oils more consistently, and they were starting to become more of a part of my life and a part of my recovery and a part of how I was coping emotionally. And it was helping. It was helping, and it was doing something. And at the same time, I had watched Ashley build this business for 2.5 years, but I didn't really know too much about it. I didn't really know too much about the woman that she did it with. She kind of kept it separate from our relationship. And I watched these women who I had never met in my entire life step up and rise up and support Ashley's business so that she could step away from it and be with her daughter while she was passing away. And it was unbelievable. Without being asked to, without telling her what they were doing, they stepped in, they all got together, and they together kept her business afloat. Not only kept her business afloat, but grew it at the same time and while she wasn't even doing anything. And I was blown away. I was like, holy cow, who are these women? What is this community? And what is going on? And how do I become a part of this? I need to be a part of this. And before I knew what was going on, I threw myself into it. I just wanted in. I wanted to be around women like that. And that's how my journey started. I jumped headfirst into this business without thinking twice because of all the women that I had seen and witnessed what they were doing around me. And it is the best decision I have ever made. It turns out this is what was missing all along and everything I was ever looking for. The community, a sense of purpose, being able to provide products and tools that I use in my everyday life in recovery, and being able to turn around and bless that and give that to other families and to other people was such an empowering feeling right out of the gates. And I have not looked back. I have gone gung-ho ever since. And it was just the answer. It was the answer that I had always been looking for, and the thing that I had always been searching for. And so here we are. We're on a call. I'm here with Ashley, who, thank God, she said yes to this 2.5, almost 3 years ago, because I am here as a result of her yes. And Heather is here as a result of her yes. And I was connected to Heather, who I did not even know before doing this business at all. And she has become a sister to me. And that's the most beautiful part about this business. We are so big on breeding community over competition that you really don't have any other choice but to become close to us and become our sister. We will not let you not become our sister. It's just what we do here. We lift each other up, we rise up together, we support one another, we do things together, and it doesn't matter where you live. It does not matter where you live. I see a bunch of faces here on this call. We have people from Canada, we have people in the Midwest, we have people in other countries. We are an international team, and we have such a tight bond. Some of these women, I'm like, how have I never met you in person? This is so crazy. We talk all the day, we FaceTime every single day, and we've never met each other in person. It's super wild. And beyond the community, which is obviously everything and fills my soul, I am now doing okay. Like, no one really wants to talk about money, but let's talk about money. I'm doing okay right now, you guys. And I've gotten myself to a place every single month that feels comfortable. I'm covering my bills on my own. I'm taking care of things on my own. And I've really built a business here. I've built something for myself, something that I can feel good about, something that's good for me, something that's good for my family, that my girls can watch me build. And I walk into my oldest daughter's room all the time, and she's doing little pretend Zoom calls with her friends, and they're making oils, and she's selling kits. And it's just like, yes, I love that. I wish I would have had that as a kid. And above all else, above the community, above the paycheck, for me, a huge part of it has been the personal growth. This has challenged me to stretch myself in ways that I've never imagined possible, to evolve and to do really hard things that I otherwise would shun away from and try to avoid. And as a result, I've really grown as a human, and we push that so hard here. Like, we are all about personal growth. If you are not growing as a human being, neither is your business. And we call it what do we call it? We call it personal growth with a paycheck for a reason. And it's just so life-giving. And it's just where everything started for me. Life really started for me when I said yes to this business and to doing this. So that's just a little bit of my story. I just wanted to briefly give you guys some of my story, and Heather's going to come in and give you a little bit of her story. And then we're going to kind of touch on a little bit more of the particulars, and Ashley's going to come in and share that with you. So Heather, do you want to come in and share a little bit of your journey and your story with us?
Hi, guys. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can see myself here. I can't see myself. Okay. So yeah, actually, this is not how I wanted to start my portion of speaking, but after listening to you, Lace, and talking about when Ashley had to step away, this happened pretty much the month after I joined, and I knew nothing about this business, but watching these women, now I'm going to get emotional, watching these women just carry her business through this was like something I've never witnessed before. And to be a part of that was life-changing. It was crazy, like what it did to me, and changed my entire perspective of what this business was and what I was going to do with it. It completely changed it. So, okay. I just wanted to get that out there because I had no intentions of saying anything like that or crying during this. I was like, we're going to get some builders out of this call.
Just so you know, Heather is not an emotional person and she's not a crier. I have never seen her cry. So welcome to Heather's first public cry.
This is like the most uncomfortable part of my, I don't like my feels. Anyone that knows me knows I don't like getting in my feels. So yeah, but hearing you talk about that totally just like brought me back there and like, yeah, totally opened that all up, opened up the floodgates. Anyways, what an introduction. Hi guys. Hello. My name is Heather Burdick. Oh my gosh, let me wipe my face real quick. I live here in Southern California. I am a wife and a mother to my two kiddos, my daughter Presley, who's 9, and my son Nash, who is 3. And we shall see how the rest of my portion of this call goes because my husband and daughter are snowboarding right now. And I've got Nash set up like on YouTube with all the snacks, just in hopes that he stays occupied for the next few minutes. So we'll see how this goes. Anyways, I am also, aside from my Young Living business, I work as a pediatric nurse. I've been a nurse for 5 years. I work the night shift. So in between, mom life, working, I also run my Young Living business in the pockets of time that I can find. So why I wanted to, this call was initially Lacey's dream call. And I actually went up to her and asked if I could just share a little bit of my story. Just because, although my story is nowhere near as heroic as Lacey or Ashley's, I think it's still important to show a different perspective, a different type of situation, because there may be someone on this call tonight that can relate to that or find themselves in the same boat that I was in a year ago. I've got boogers running down my face. Anyways, all right. So let's rewind a little bit. I'm just going to share a little bit of my story, how I got started and where I hope to take this business. So last February, I bought my kit from Ashley. And if you don't know, Ashley and I are childhood friends. We grew up together. We have been friends since we were 10. As we grew, lives went on, we grew apart, but always kept in touch like via social media. So it just happened that around this time, I was ready to start using some oils. So I ordered my kit from Ashley, signed up with her. And even before my kit arrived, I had been watching her on Breathe and Bloom doing this oily business thing, never asked her anything about it, but lurking behind the scenes type of person, which, I know we all do that. So then I finally took the plunge, bought my kit. And before my kit even arrived, I started asking her questions about the business, and like, it's funny because I think about it now. And at the time I totally thought I was being like vague, just curious, like not trying to dive into the business or anything. And meanwhile, now that I know the business and know these types of conversations we have with these people, I'm sure Ashley in her mind was like, oh, I got her. She's totally in. I can check her off the list. She's doing this. But yeah, so I bought my kit, but it wasn't like okay, I'm doing this business right off the bat. So a year ago, when I ordered my kit and wanted to get started, I was at a place in my life where at the time it had been 4 years that I've been working as a nurse full time. I enjoyed my job. I love my job. I'm very proud of my career. I worked really hard to become a nurse. And, it's something that I worked hard at, that I am prideful of, and that I enjoy. But I came to a point in my job where, you know, even at the time, like I had moments for sure of feeling overworked. And I was just looking to my distant future, like 25 years from now, like retirement age, knowing that I didn't want to be at that age working myself to the ground, you know, and not to say there's anything wrong with that. Like I work with many nurses that are close to retirement age. They've been nurses for most of their life. They're amazing. I very much look up to them. I just know I knew that I didn't want my future to play out like that. I don't know. I just knew then that I didn't want to be later in life and having worked myself to the bone. Um, so that was something that, was definitely going through my wheelhouse. I was also thinking of the more near future and like current experiences and experiencing the heartache of missing out on family occasions. Not that my kids are in school now, but, missing school performances, parties, stuff like that, missing holidays. Like I still to this day get anxiety about thinking of having to miss a Christmas morning with my kids, like ever, because hospitals don't close. We're open on holidays, we're open on weekends, and it's just a fact of the job. We have to do that. So stuff like that, like missing holidays, missing a Christmas morning is something I'll never get over. Like I'll never be okay with that. So that was something else. This was kind of like me just being in a position where now I'm like looking at my life ahead and wondering if I was okay with this, like if I was content with having this be my life. And then also along with that, at the same time, my husband and I, we make a decent income. But in the end, we both have jobs where our incomes will ultimately be capped. Like we'll make what we make and that'll be it. Right. So at the same time, we're both quite elaborate dreamers. We have dreams of owning a lot of land. We have dreams of taking a year off and like just taking our family and traveling across country in our little trailer. We have crazy pipe dreams of opening a vintage trailer campground somewhere. I don't know, crazy stuff. Like we've always just been dreamers, and we live a happy life where we are able to do a lot of fun stuff, and I think that is what allows us to dream. And so knowing that and knowing our current situation and that our funds our income would never be able to fund those dreams, it just had me open and like yearning for something more. Right. But then also with like time and income aside, I also just personally in my work life was feeling like something was missing. Like I loved my job. I love caring for my patients, but I just wasn't fulfilled in my working life. I wanted to bring creativity back to my working life. I wanted something I could take ownership of. I don't like working for a corporate corporate like in a corporate environment. I don't enjoy it. Yeah. And at the time I had no idea like what I was looking for. I just knew I wanted something else, something different. And in all these realizations is when this little young living thing fell into my lap. So I get my kit. Obviously I fall in love with everything. I was shocked at the get-go of like the noticeable changes that were happening within my family through these products. And I just couldn't help but like naturally share about them. So I tell Ashley, okay, I'll give it a try. I'm going to try this thing. And what's funny is we're in the middle of this leadership course right now where this last call that we just had, Ashley and Lacey, who were hosting it, we're talking about the 3 types of builders we have: the I'll try, the I'll try my best, and the I'll do whatever it takes. I definitely was the I'll try at first. And so yeah, I was the I'll try. I'm going to try this and we'll see what it does. So Ashley asked me initially when I started the business, she was like, okay, well, what do you want from this? What do you hope to get from this business? And I'm someone that likes like tangible goals. I want something that I can check off on a list, like, okay, I accomplished that, done. So I told her, if I can match my nursing salary and be able to cut back on my hours at the hospital, that I would be stoked. Like that would be number one, done, good. And then she also asked what goal I had for doing this business, what, as far as the ranks, what I wanted to reach. I said, if I could hit silver in a year, I'd be proud, like stoked, did it. Good job, Heather. So if you've ever seen the income disclosure, like the breakdown of what each rank makes, silver makes an average of $2,000 a month, where that's not matching my nursing salary. So even hitting silver at a year, I wasn't going to match my salary, but I was on my way there. And so I would have been happy with that, right? And at the time, knowing nothing about the business, I honestly didn't have high hopes. I didn't know if these goals were even expectations that could be met, or if it was like, good luck with that. That's a long shot, but you try. Good, you try. So now let me preface this next part by saying that I am a type 1 on the Enneagram. I am a very green personality, and the green is like the researcher, wants to know everything to do it perfectly. So even though I was an I'll try, I was gonna give it my best. I wasn't gonna half-ass it. I was gonna put the work in, do my all. That's just my personality. If I decide I'm gonna do something, I'm fully doing it. So I would ask Ashley, hey, can you tag me in whatever videos you think might be helpful? She'd tag me in one. I'd be like, oh, I already watched that one. Can you tag me in another one? Like that annoying brown noser student in class, which I wasn't like that in school. So I don't know why I'm like this now. There he goes. So yeah. So I did all the things. I watched all the videos. I did the mentorships. I did the boot camps. I followed all the oily accounts. I did all the things and it worked. You guys, people actually cared what I talked about and what I shared, and they were signing up with me, which was really cool. So remember, I initially said, what I wanted from this business was to hit silver in a year and to match my nursing salary at some point. Well, I did it in 4 months, which was crazy. It happened in 4 months, way sooner than I ever thought possible. I hit silver in June, and then I earned my first paycheck, which matched my salary, in July, which was crazy. Like, I don't know. It happened a lot sooner than I expected. When it was all happening, it was quite the whirlwind. I mean, Young Living was exploding as it was, but I was 4 months into it. So I really definitely didn't know what I was doing, but I was enrolling people and then they were enrolling people. And, before I knew it, I had this team of women building their businesses alongside with me. And the momentum of what we had going on was just so cool to witness firsthand, to be a part of it. And since then, I've had months where I've tripled my nursing income and I've had months where I've earned less. So it's definitely been an adventure. It's up and down. It's not easy across the board by all means. But let me just tell you what reaching that first goal did for me. So reaching that first initial goal that I thought was a pipe dream, or I, had no expectations of actually reaching it, getting there allowed me to reach for more, to want more, to dream for more. Once I realized what was attainable and once I realized what I was capable of, it was like a light switch went off and I became the I'll do whatever it takes builder. And not to say that it's been easy, because it hasn't always been easy. I'm currently in a low and slow uh, window of building my business right now, but I know the goals that I have now, which are for so much more than I initially had, they'll happen. I mean, the two things that I wanted from this business were time freedom and financial freedom. And those are happening. Like, I'm on track to hopefully quit my job in the next year. I've essentially doubled my income, which has blessed my family in so many ways. We've paid off cars, we're able to save for the dreams that we had. So they're happening. And while I have an incredibly long way to go still, it's encouraging and motivating to feel like we're headed in that direction. So my dreams now, which weren't even goals initially, they were wishes, to be able to spend uninterrupted time with my family, not ever have to worry about missing a holiday, to be able to do things, create things with my husband that were pipe dreams. Like, those are things that I, could be tens of years from now, but they're tangible and I see them and I can feel them with the depths of my soul that I could reach these goals. So yeah, the only way that these goals won't be reached for me, I know, is if I quit. And that's the one thing I won't do. Like, I've come to that realization that even in the low, slow, periods of feeling like we're not growing or I'm not doing, like, what do I need to do? I just know that it's still there. Like, we'll get there eventually. The only way we won't is if I quit. And that's just not an option for me anymore. So yeah. Okay. The last thing I want to do to talk about to close my little story out is the one thing I didn't expect to get from this business. I didn't even realize it was a thing until I found myself surrounded by it. And it goes back to what Lacey spoke about earlier, was the sisterhood of women doing this business alongside each other. I see a handful of them here on this call, some of my favorite girls. These are women most of which actually were strangers to me before this. And now some of them are my closest friends. Like, we talk daily, we share ideas, triumphs, failures, all the things. This Breathe and Bloom team breeds a community of women supporting each other, encouraging one another. And it's honestly nothing I've ever experienced before. Like, I have lifelong friends who are my best friends in life. They are family. But there's just something about this group of women who are collectively building something for themselves and supporting one another that you just don't get from, like, your besties, like, I mean, not not besties here, but your other friends, because it's something you don't have in common. So you'll never have that connection in that way. And that's something that we all find here. And it's incredible. It is honestly something I've never experienced before. And it's incredible. So that's it, guys. That was my story. Started off bawling. And I just wanted to share that because, if it can be relatable or inspiring to any of you that have dreams of wanting more, just go for it. It's capable. You are all capable. It's attainable for all of you. Just go for it. That's it.
That was perfect. That was amazing. And I've never been more happy that I'm recording a Zoom in my life, because now we have actual footage of Heather crying.
And I cry.
Yep. You're speaking my love language now, girl.
Embarrassing.
Okay. So thank you so much for that, Heather. I love your story. It's truly one of my favorite stories. And I just love being on this team with you. So thank you for being here tonight and sharing that with all of us. All right, next we are going to hear from our incredible upline, all of our soul sister. She's all of our bestie. How can one person be bestie to 500 people? Well, you're about to find out. Ash, would you like to come on and say hello?
Yes, dang it. I didn't think I was going to start crying either. There's something insanely powerful. I do these calls all the time. And it's part of what I love most about this business is that I get to consider this work, telling my story, reminding women what they're capable of, helping women feel a lot more connected. You know, I've always, since I was a little girl, just had this like bubbling inside of me, knowing that there was something more for me, knowing. And I didn't know what it looked like, but I felt it. And I spent so many years of my life anxious, feeling like I was missing it. Like, where is it? Did I miss it? Did it pass? Is it true? Like, am I wrong? Is there not something more for me? Gosh, no, I still feel it there. I always felt it. And it was not until I said yes to this and started building this community that bubbling started to calm and started to feel at ease and started to feel at home. And it's because it's this culmination of everything that I value in life, everything that is important to me, everything that I want to continue to get out of life seems to have just collided into each other as this business for me. And what I mean by that is this is my passion. I'm living my dream. And no, I was not a little girl who was like, one day I will run an oily empire. And that is what I want to do. My passion in life is lavender, peppermint, and frankincense. And I'm going to devote my life to those oils and making sure that everybody has them in their home. That is not my dream, not even close. And I will be the first to say that. Am I obsessed with those products? Yes. Can I imagine a life where they're not there for me every single day? No, not anymore. I can't. Like, it's a true addiction. But that is not my passion. It's not what I want out of life. It's something that I just really, really enjoy and I have seen the blessings of and I want to share with others. What I'm passionate about is connecting women, is building community, is being financially stable on my own just to prove to myself that I can, just to show myself what I am capable of. I value relationships. And that's where I get emotional because this is the first time I've ever done, I've said I've done a million of these calls, but this is the first time I've ever done one with Lacey and Heather. And it's like I'm watching my entire life add up to this moment. And that makes me really emotional because each one of them represent a completely different chapter of my life. And they didn't know each other before this business. And Heather represents my entire childhood, and Lacey represents my teenage years and my new mom years. And for very different reasons, those were both incredibly pivotal points of my life, and they had a front row seat. And they lived it with me, and they went through all of it with me. And now they're together doing this. And the reality is that Heather and I did lose track. I'm simply because I moved out of town, and I am not a friend who does well at keeping in touch with long distance. So we lost track for years. We became adults. Like, we had families, we grew in different directions. And the harsh reality is that if it weren't for this business, we just would have remained Instagram acquaintances. And that's not our story anymore. And now I get to have like somebody who knows my entire past and knows where I came from, be a part of where I'm going. And it's the most beautiful thing that I never could have imagined. And what I can promise you about this business is it is going to be a string of those experiences. I can't promise you or tell you exactly which ones they will be for you, but I promise you that if you're open, that people are going to come into your life and opportunities are going to come into your life and a community is going to come into your life that is going to be that culmination of everything you've ever lived crashing into each other at one point. And I see the relationships I've built over the years just leading to this moment. And both Lace and Heather both mentioned a little bit about Stevie, my daughter. And I say that to my husband all the time too about her life. I say, I can look back now and I see every detail of her life crashing into this moment. And I can see that a part of her spirit, since she was so young, knew all along what she was doing and why she was here and the people that she was going to bring together. And You know, I see all the parts of her life crashing into this moment too. And none of that is lost on me. And I'm grateful for it every single day. And, you know, I'm going to spare you all my story because it could take an hour and many of you guys have heard it already. I just want you to know that I have lived the blessings of this business. I don't just talk about them because I watch somebody else experience them. I have lived them personally, and I have had a front row seat as the people I love and care about and have become close with have also lived and experienced the blessings. And Lacey and Heather's stories are, the reality of those stories is even greater and more magnificent than what they are humbly sharing with you. Like, it truly is the impact that they have had on other people because of their commitment to this, the lives that they have changed, the people that they have invited into this community whose lives have been changed as a result, the influence that they've had through their leadership, each of their own versions of leadership that they have been able to show up here with. We are all different kinds of leaders. I don't want you to be on this call and think, okay, so the only people successful in this business are leaders and I'm not a leader. I don't believe that that's true. We have every type of leader on our team because every one of us has strengths. And in this business, there is not one type of successful person. Anyone can be successful if they show up in their strengths and they're willing to face the discomfort of their weaknesses. That's why it's personal growth with a paycheck. And anybody who is willing to do that does find success. And we joke, like, I was laughing the whole time. Heather's like, oh yeah, the slow season of my business right now. She's coming up on 1 year. Like, I laugh that it's like, oh, like she's entering her 30th year at her corporate job, slipping into retirement. I'm like, okay, yes, there are seasons of our business and we have massive explosive momentum and then we get a little bit stagnant and then we grow again. But the point is that in way less than a year, Heather matched her full-time paycheck, you guys. Like, that is the reality of what happened. And there was a period of time when I was doing this business where I was telling the same story that Heather told of like, oh, I'm in a slow season. I'm not where I wanted to be. And I had been doing the business for 2 years and I paused and realized I was making a full-time salary. Oh my gosh, I'm making more than a teacher makes right now. And I haven't even been doing this for 2 years. And it was less than a year later that I'm now able to match my husband's salary and give him the option to scale back on work. And if he wanted to retire, he could. And I was able to be the one in our marriage who bought a vacation home for our family and all of these things because we're big dreamers too, like Heather mentioned that they are. And we've had a vision board and there's been a picture of a cabin and we knew it was going to be in Lake Arrowhead and that's been on our vision board for years. And these things are starting to happen. And I say that as proof that we are living the things that we're talking about. But back to what Lacey and Heather said, the thing that has been most impactful, more than the paycheck, more than the time freedom and the financial freedom, has been the community. And that's what I didn't anticipate. I knew that it was a priority for me. I knew that if I was going to do this and I was going to go all in, that I was going to prioritize community and compassion and us doing this together. I was going to break stigmas. I was going to use this as an opportunity to gather women and show them what they were capable of. I was not going to build my business on anybody's back. We were going to build it together. And I knew I was committed to that, but I had no idea just how fulfilling that was going to be and just how much purpose I was going to find there and just how much that stirring in my soul found a home and a place in the community that we've built, not in the paycheck, not in the rank advancements and the awards and the ceremonies and all the other fun, amazing trips and things that we get and are rewarded with in this business. That stuff is all great. But the part that like marries my soul to this, and even when I'm making what my ultimate goal is, I don't know if I'd be able to walk away because I don't think I could walk away from that for all the money in the world, is this community and the relationships we built and the personal growth that has come as a result and the personal growth that I have witnessed in other people. So that's the picture I want to paint. a couple of the logistics that I promised Lace I would go over without getting too fluffy into my story. And one of my favorite, you know what, I'm going to lock this door. Hold on. You guys are coming with me for a second while I shut the door because I can hear my dogs getting a little too excited and they're about to run back up here. A thing that I love absolutely most about this business, and that ultimately played a big role in my saying yes, because I was one of those people who did not have a good taste in their mouth about network marketing. I had dabbled in another one, given it a shot. It was not a positive experience. I gave it a fair shot. I didn't quit because it was too hard. I quit because I was busting my butt, not making any money, losing money every month, selling like crazy, and a part of a comp plan that didn't make sense, that wasn't paying me for what I was doing, and that was encouraging me to compete with my own team members for a sale. And it didn't feel good. Not to mention a product that I was selling that wasn't improving somebody's life. It was simply an accessory, which was fun, but it was not fulfilling. So it was fun, but that only lasted for a period of time. I needed fulfilling. So I had this icky taste in my mouth. And when I said yes to this, I had to get that icky taste out of my mouth first. I had to make sure that I was going to break that stigma. I completely forgot where I was going with this because the dogs derailed me. Tell me, Lace, I see you unmuting yourself because you know. Where was I going?
You were going to talk about logistics, and you were talking about the comp plan of the other one you did.
Thank you. So thank you for knowing. That's why we're pseudo sisters.
Yeah, you guys, you don't have to be perfect here. Listen, we come as we are. Like, we don't have scripted notes here, like on the fly. Okay.
I heard my dogs fighting out there and I had to go shut the door. You get to ask your friend to complete your thoughts again for you. So yes, that's what I was going to say, is something that was a big, big perk for me and something that I continue to love today and that I'm so proud of with our business is, number one, to do this business, there's not a business buy-in. You don't have to buy inventory. You don't have to pull out a loan so that you can buy 1,000 pairs of leggings to store in your kid's closet. You don't have to sell products from your own home and stock them and deliver them. The company that I had attempted before, I had to buy all my own samples every 3 months because it was seasonal. So every 3 months I had to rebuy their whole line, and I didn't get credit on anything I bought. I had to buy my own samples. I had to pay for a package to do the business. That package didn't come with anything, just the ability to work the business. And none of that is part of the way Young Living works. Anybody who orders a premium starter kit has the option to do this business. So if you enrolled your sister and she's like, I do not want to do the business, she doesn't have to. But if she got a starter kit, the option is always there for her. So that if one day she's diffusing at her house and she has like a mom play date and a handful of moms come over and they're like, we want that diffuser, she can be like, oh, wait, it can be that simple? Like I can do this casually too? Okay, well, I'll get the 3 of you guys a diffuser. And that month she makes a quick $150. Like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So this business, you get to show up and do it however you want to. You can show up and do it casually. Okay, I just want to get my oils paid for and share oils with my friends and I'm gold there. You could show up and say, I will be happy when I can pay for our car payments. You can show up and say, I need to cover our mortgage. That will relieve so much stress from my partner if I can cover our mortgage. Or you need to say, like, this is my retirement plan. I want residual income. I want time freedom. Tell me how to get to the top as quickly as possible. We are not here to only support one kind of dream. If you're here and you're like, oh, this might not be the spot for me because like, I just need to make $500 a month and I'm good. Hey, we are here to support you in that. If you communicate with us what your goals and dreams are, if you come to us and say, I need to be making 10 grand a month stat, we're going to say, okay, that's a fantastic goal. Here's how you get there. Here's how you do it. Are you willing and are you ready to do the work? Full transparency, it's not easy. It's not easy. We won't pretend that it's easy. I cannot stand when I see other network marketing companies out there trying to sell it as get rich quick. This is so easy. Just sign up and people will flock to you. That's not the reality. We also say all the time that anybody can do this. I believe that with my whole heart. Anybody can be successful at this. There is not one type of person only who is successful at this. Anybody can be, most people won't, because you have to decide that you want to be. And so that's where I say that if you want to be really successful with this, it's hard work. I have worked hard. I've also never enjoyed working more. I've never had more fun. Nothing has ever, like, we're up at our cabin right now and I'm working. We just got here, and Chandler, who's on my team, Chambry, who's on my team, literally just walked through the door. Lacey, who's on my team, was just here last weekend, and Chandler's coming today. And I texted her and I said, hey, when you come, make sure you bring your work stuff. And she wrote back, duh. And I wrote back, it wouldn't be a vacation without our work stuff, because we love what we do. So yes, it is work, but we enjoy doing it so it doesn't feel like work. There's a book called The 4-Year Career that I recommend to everybody when they start this business. You can find it on Amazon, and you're going to want to get the Young Living specific edition so that it is very specific to Young Living. And what the 4-Year Career does is a book you can read in like an hour and a half. And he outlines the income potential in this business, but he really illustrates to you, but here's how that's possible. Here's what you can make, but let me show you, let me break it down so you can see how this actually works. So that by the end of the book, you're like, oh, I get it. And the reason it's called the 4-Year Career is because he basically shows you that if you follow this model and you look at these numbers, at the end of 4 years, you will be making a residual income that you can retire on in 4 years. So somebody left a comment earlier with Heather, and they're like, when do you find time to sleep? And I laugh because there are a lot of times that I have worked late nights. Now, remember, you guys, my choice in doing this business was going all in. I wanted to make as much as quick as I could and build community as fast as I could and get that ultimate paycheck as quickly as possible. So that means I put more hours in. If my goal was smaller, I wouldn't be putting as many hours in. So it's all relative to what your goal is and what you want out of this. And just like when I asked Heather, what do you want out of this? That wasn't because I was going to pressure her to do this business in a way that she wasn't ready for. It's because I wanted to know what her goal was so that I could set her up to achieve that goal. And then she did it twice as fast as she thought she would. So that's really, really helpful for us as your leaders to know what you want. And we're not going to tell you what your goal is. We're not going to push you to something that is not what you want. You tell us what you want out of this, and then we help you get there. If you're willing, we are not going to work harder on your business for you than you are for yourself. But we are going to be here every step of the way, and we are going to match your commitment level. So anyway, back to what I was getting at is, so you don't have to pay all of these sign-up fees. You don't have to sign your life away, and you just have to get a kit and start doing this business. The other thing that a lot of people don't know about this business is we are creating legacy income. And here's how that's different from residual income. Residual income, if you're familiar, is an income that you continue to collect even after you've sold the product, even after you've completed the job. You continue to collect a paycheck even once the transaction is closed. Young Living builds a residual income because we are a consumable product and because we help get people set up with this lifestyle so that they have auto shipments, so they get their thieves cleaner every single month, so that they get their lavender oil for their skincare every single month, they get their laundry detergent every single month. So we get paid every single month. That's a residual income. That's what we're building here, because that's where you get the time freedom. That's where you own your own time, and it's not a 9 to 5 anymore. And suddenly you're getting a paycheck even when you take 3 months off work to be with your family because your daughter's sick. And that was me. I still got a paycheck every single month, even though I wasn't showing up to work for months. I got a paycheck every month. I can't tell you what that did for our family. I can't even tell you. I mean, we wouldn't have lost our jobs. My husband and I both own our own businesses, but my husband would have had to figure out a way to keep working during that time. if I couldn't have picked up the slack, it would have changed everything for us. So that's what residual income is. But what legacy income is, and I don't know another company who does this, but Young Living is a willable income. So once you start making $3,000 a month with Young Living, you are able to, what's the word? Will your income, to leave that income to your family should anything happen to you. I can't even tell you guys the peace of mind that that gives me, knowing that if anything happened to me, my family is still going to get that check every single month. That's our retirement plan. Like, that's my children's inheritance. That's what I'm going to pass. And if I pass at a ripe old age and they're middle aged with their children, they're going to still collect my check, a legacy forever. And that check isn't going anywhere because the foundation of this business that I built is so strong. And people are still going to continue to show up and believe in this, that they will continue to collect that check for generations to come. They could decide to collect the check, or they could decide to run this business themselves as well. I love that they have that option there. Just like Lacey said, watching her daughter get on Zoom calls with her other second grade friends and talk about oils and do their little oily classes. And I have oily interns that are my best girlfriends who are like sisters to me in the whole world. Their daughters come over and are interns for me and work the business. And when they get asked what they want to do when they grow up, this is what they want to do. That is a big part of my why in this. I did not want this. I was raised by a working mom in a time when there was a lot of stigma about being raised by a working mom. Oh, moms should be home. Moms should be with their kids, all of that. And there's so much beauty in that. I was home with my kids for years, and I think it's amazing. But I was so proud of my mom, you guys, growing up, watching her work. She was badass. And I would go to work with her all the time. I would watch her work. She would explain to me what she was doing. She would talk to me about the contract she was getting signed. She would take me along to sit in the background of meetings. She would take me on property walkthroughs. Like, I was there. I would sit in her home office and play around on the Q&A DOS. That's aging me. Those old computers with the blue screen, all of the things. Like, I remember playing work and using her old briefcases. And I thought it was so cool because she wasn't ashamed of it. And she taught me to be proud of her. And she made me a part of the experience and let me see what she was doing. It wasn't, oh no, honey, I can't do this with you. Mommy's busy working. Guilt, shame, pressure. Oh my gosh, I have a mom who's a workaholic and she never, I never get to spend time with her. Instead, my mom, who had to work a lot as a single mom, she made me a part of the experience so that I developed work ethic and so that I was proud of her and so that I understood all the sacrifices she made for me. My kids were oblivious to this concept. They had me home all the time at their beck and call, just living a life to serve them. And there's nothing wrong with that either. There was nothing wrong with that. But I got to the point to where I needed them to see me pouring myself into something else outside of them. And I needed them to see work ethic. And I needed them to know that the Xbox that they were getting for Christmas and the vacation we were taking was coming as a result of this, the thing that they had a front row seat to watching. And that is what is so beautiful. We call those 4 years that you're building your career a season of sacrifice because, yeah, I don't cook dinner as much and I don't really keep up on the laundry. And for the first year that I did that business, our laundry piled up. After the first year, I could afford to pay somebody to do my laundry. I don't do my own laundry anymore, you guys. It's beautiful because I hate laundry. And that's not where I want to put my time. I would rather play Uno with my kids than do laundry. So I can pay somebody to do my laundry. But in that first year, that season of sacrifice, I just didn't really do laundry very often. And it showed. It showed. And that was one of the sacrifices I made so that I could still play Uno with our kids and I could still build my business knowing where this was going and knowing the example that I was setting for them. So there is a season of sacrifice if you want that growth on the front end. But if you also are like, slow and steady is my pace and I'm fine getting my car payment paid for, we are here for that as well. You get to sit with us. You get to be a part of our team in any capacity that you want to show up. That is what we're all about. We are not just here for like the hardcore all in, although you are some of our favorite people because you're speaking our love language. We're here for everyone who wants to be a part of this. The only thing we ask from you is that you tell us what those goals are so that the way we lead and mentor you reflects what you want out of this. So, Lace, I'm going to let you wrap it up. There is more of my story out there on different links. And so if that is something that you do want to hear, if you haven't heard it before, you know, we are able to provide that to you, where I talk about my reasons for saying yes to this business, where I was at in my personal life, financially, all the things that led up to where I am today. So if you do have any interest in that, that's available. But for the purposes of this call, you got the logistics.
If and when you do join us, we will tag you in those videos. So you will be hearing everybody's story. And there are so many other women. I mean, this is just a very small amount of us who are sharing our story. I mean, we have thousands of women on our team, and women who have just like done incredible things. So, and you'll get to meet with them and connect with them. And they're not some like high up almighty person that you can't reach. They are at your fingertips as well. You can message them, build a relationship with them. That's the beauty of all of this. There's no like hierarchy here. We are all one and the same, and there's no competition that way. There's no, you are your own boss, and we're all just boss babes doing it together. So it's really cool. And like Ashley said, the only buy-in here is for the starter kit. And I see a bunch of you on here, and I know a bunch of names. So I know a lot of you even already have your starter kit, which is great. So if you wanted to just get up and start doing this business tonight, you could. You're done, you're in. It's super simple. $165 is the cheapest way to take a trip of a lifetime and to follow your dreams. If you ask me, it was the best $165 that I have ever spent. And I would spend it over and over again, 1 million times to be a part of this and to do this. I pinch myself when I wake up like that. This is what I get to do, that I don't have to call in anymore or answer to anybody. Like the stress of that being gone off of my shoulders, I can't even tell you what that has done for me. It's unbelievable. And like Ashley said, is this my end all? Absolutely not. I have huge dreams. My why is so freaking deep, guys. We always say your why, your reasoning why should bring you to your knees. It should make you so emotional and take you down for why you're doing something like this. And mine certainly does. And I'm dreaming big, and I'm like reaching for the stars right now. And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. And when I'm feeling down and I'm feeling like defeated, all I have to do is link into these women, and they are right there to build me back up and to guide me back into my purpose, into my why. So while you're owning your own business, you're not doing it alone. It's remarkable. So one of the things I want to ask you to do, when we get off this call, is I want you to write down your dreams. Write down your dreams, all of them. There is nothing that is too outlandish. Don't be embarrassed. The biggest things that you have dreamed, put them down on the paper and get them out. Get them out of your body onto a piece of paper. And this is what one of our upline, Danielle Berklio, tells us to do. Then I want you to cross it out, cross those dreams out, and I want you to dream bigger. Take it up a notch. Okay. And then share that with us. I want to know what your dreams are, and I want to help you get there. One of my dreams is to help other women reach their dreams. So you will be helping me reach my dreams if you share that with me, and if you allow me into this space to help you get there. So with that being said, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know we are at the hour mark, and we could really, truly go on for hours. We've done it. But we won't do that to you this evening. I do have most of your emails. If you signed up using the link to sign up and register for this course, I have your email, and I will be sending you a follow-up email after this call that has all the information. And if you don't already have your starter kit, it helps you figure out how to get your starter kit. And I would love to hear from you. Feel free to respond to the email. Feel free to reach out to me personally, Ashley personally, Heather personally. We're here to help you answer any questions that you have. If there's any lingering questions or you want to know more about something, please contact us, ask us. We are here for all the questions all the time. Thank you for taking the time. I know that 6 o'clock is a weird time for all of us, or if you're on the East Coast, 9 o'clock. So thank you for being here. Again, there's something inside of you that pulled you here tonight, and I want you really to tap into that and see what that is. And it would be an honor if you decided to take a space here with us, because there's room. There's room for us. Join us, come sit with us. We would absolutely love it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for being here, guys. And I'm going to really quickly just put my email in the chat. So if you want to email me directly, you can. It's Lacey@surfaceandsoulsociety.com. Feel free to reach out to me or DM me, and go have a beautiful night. It was good to see you guys. Thank you for coming. Bye, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.